Hello guys, welcome to this tutorial. In our previous tutorial, we worked on the top bar and also the sidebar. Well, in this tutorial, we are going to also hash our password and also learn how to pass data from one page to another. So in this database, we realize that our password is not hashed, which can really cause harm if in case this is in production and is being used by a company or any other firm. Well, let's get started. So in our first tutorial, we created a function which is to hash our password. So let's get to work. So in our login page, and now let's log out. So now we are going to hash our password. So let's get started. So first of all, let's go to our sign up and let's look through where we are creating our password. So if it exists, this is our password then. So we'll go to this function. We are going to copy the name of the function here, paste it, and also let's just put it into brackets. So we are going to store the hash password instead of the real password value. So let's close it and run it again. So let's go to our sign up and let's name clever6 at gmail.com. So if you are to sign up, you realize that let's check the DBNC. Realize that now it's the hash password that has been saved. Well then, if we are to log in case we are to log in with that same user, realize that this wouldn't work because the password is not the same. So we have to check if this hash password is equal to the one already existing in the database. So for that, we have to go to our login, and also in that we are going to check. Let's see. So we are going to do the same thing here. Then write hash password. Let me just copy the function and paste it here. So with this, in case it's the same, it's going to work. It's going to check if the password is the same. Let's see whether we've imported it. Yes, we've imported it. Okay, so let's close it and run it again. So this one is clever5 and gmail.com. The same thing here. Wait a minute. Okay, I realize that this is clever6, not clever5. So let's continue. Let's open it up. And with this, you're just going to say clever6. So we realize that this one works now, and we are able to go to our dashboard. Okay, so let's also control it in case our password is wrong. We are able to see it. So in here, we are also going to check if both are wrong or one is wrong. I'm just going to copy the same thing here. Let's copy this too. So now let's rerun this again. So now let's try the clever5 at gmail.com. So realize that it says password or email incorrect. So now we are able to control this. So now let's move to passing on data from the login to our dashboard, so that when in case the password is correct, it's going to pass in. Let's correct this. It's going to say hello or welcome with the first name displaying here, and wherever you go on the dashboard, it's able to display the user's details. Well, so let's now look at how to pass in the data. Well, I'll take this logic from JWT, how they can pass token from one place to another. So that's the logic we're going to use here. Well, there might be other ways to do this, but then that's the logic I'd want us to use here. So we'll go, let's create a file name token of py. Then in that, we are going to have we have to import our JWT, then also have our date and time. So import date and time. Let's do from date. Okay, so now I'm going to write them down. So I might skip this part a little. So let me write them down, then explain what exactly each line does. Okay, so after writing this, let me explain what this does. So first we import JWT, and now we now encode this data. So we are going to get the email and also the expiry date. With this expiring date, you can set it to the number of days you want. But with this one, I'm setting it to 1 day. So in case it's after that day, this token will expire. Okay, so we encode the data, then after encoding it, we store it in our client storage. So what's start after the this will be client storage. So we store this data in our client storage. This is mainly a key value thing. So on desktop, it stores it as a JSON file. Then with iOS and Android, they also have their storage devices, but mostly web is also web storage, local storage. So after setting it in this, automatically we can get it using. So after storing this in our client storage, which on the desktop is going to be our JSON file, we can get this token anywhere we are on the application. So let's get started. Let's continue. With the get user, what we do here is that we are getting a token to check. Uh, we are getting a token, then we decode it to see if the expiry date has really passed the the date in which the user is making that request. If it has, it's going to return a false. If it hasn't, then I get the data by fetching, going to the database and fetch it by email. Remember, in our database, we've set the email to unique, so two users cannot have the same email. So basically, that is what we are doing here. So I will get the data, and we are using the same logic as JWT REST frameworks. So now let's continue. Let's go to our login. So when the person logs in, we have to be able to call this function. So I will store it in our client storage. Okay, so now let's go to our login. Let's see. So after slash, going to update password mismatch. Okay, so here we are now going to write generate. Let's first import it. Then let's write generate token. And in here we are going to pass in our self.page and also our email. Let me see whether I can import it right from here. I don't think so. So let's just write it. So now it's being imported. So let's check email value. So this is email value. Okay. So we are going to then print out. Let's make a get request to see if truly it has been stored. So we are going to print self.page.client storage dot get, and now we'll get our token. So we see if truly it works. Let's see. So now let's run it again and see. Okay, now it's in now. So now we are going to create the clever6@gmail.com. Let's paste that here. Let's see. Okay, so you can see the token has been printed here, so which shows that it has been stored. Okay, so let's continue. So now we want to display this. So we want to use this token to get that user and display their name here, which we called it clever 6, right? So that's what we are going to do. Let's see. So the next thing is, let's go to our dashboard. Where's our dashboard? And in our dashboard, okay, so before even we write this, we have to write some checks in our main file. Okay, so in here we are going to now check if that user is logged in. If he's already logged in, we don't redirect the person to that login page, but rather into the dashboard. So let's do that. So we are going to write is, let's open this one. So realize that this returns two values, which is a true and also the user details. So we are going to write is user and also the user. Then we are going to get that data. So first I'm going to write page.client storage dot get, then the token. Let's return an empty array. So if its user is equal to true, then it means the token hasn't expired or there is a token. So then we are going to redirect the person to the dashboard. But if not, then we are just going to redirect the person to the login. So let's close this. Let's run it again and see. Let's see what's wrong. Okay, let's change that. So now let's run it again. Oh, okay, that's a mistake. Let's just change this to go. I made it get. So just redirect back to this side. So let's log in. Java6 at gmail.com. And the same thing here. So we are logged in now. Let's close it. Let's then print and see what this gives us. Okay, so it returns false. So let's check. Let's see if it's bringing an error or everything works well. Looks like we made a mistake somewhere. Oh, okay. So we didn't bring brackets here. So now let's try it again. So you realize that it has redirected us back to, it has redirected us to the dashboard. So now, whenever the user logs out or close the application and runs it again, he doesn't need to log in again, but all he has to do is just it's to redirect him to the dashboard. So let's continue. So since we are done with that, and let's also test it by logging out. With this, we've not yet set it up, so we are going to set it up. So just in case a person logs out, he's able to, we are able to delete the token, so he doesn't need to log in when he opens the application again. So let's now go to our dashboard. So in our dashboard, we are going to have ourselves as user, comma, then also user, and in this we are going to get user and page.client storage dot get token. Let's see if we can import it. Okay, so in here After getting it, you are just going to write page dot its user is equal to its user, and also page dot user is equal to user. So with this, since we are passing in a page in a class, our sidebar class and a top bar class, we are able to use this wherever we go. So now then, let's now go to our top bar. Before that, let's run it. So you realize that I made a mistake. Okay. Okay, so we realize that this is admin. So if we go to our top bar, realize that we hard coded it. We wrote it there ourselves. Yeah, so this is it. So now we are going to change this and write the person's first name there. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just use our formatting F, then welcome. Remember we used user, so all we have to do is just bring this and write user dot, well, first have to write page dot user dot get. Then in here we are going to get the first name, which is first name, and if that is not available, we just return an empty string. So now let's close this and run it again. Okay. Okay, so we can see now it's written what welcome clever 6. So now we can log out, log in again. So clever 6 at gmail.com. Then that same is the password. But as when you log in, it brings welcome clever 6. So now we don't need to worry about. So this is how you pass data from one page to another. Okay, thank you for watching. See you next time.